Welcome to this video on carving and embossing a horse's head. In this program, we will show some special techniques for using modelers, bevelers, hair blades, matting tools, and more. The first thing I need to talk about is the watering or the dampening of the leather. Now, normally I would encourage you to cement this leather to a piece of cardboard for tooling. However, since we're going to do some embossing, I want to put water on the front and the back. Now be careful as you're putting it on the back, because from the back it will absorb water a lot faster than it does from the front. So we want our leather to be nice and damp all the way through, but not soggy. Now we'll set this aside and wait for it to begin to return to its natural color. My leather is beginning to return to its natural color, so I can now start my tracing. You'll notice I have taped my pattern in place so that I can lift it and check it from time to time without it getting out of registration. So the first thing I'll do is check, and yes, I'm getting a real nice impression. So it's not necessary to trace real deep, just deep enough so that you can see it. Now we will trace all of the solid lines as solid lines. Where we have dotted lines, we'll trace those as dotted lines and not too deep, because these are just guidelines for beveling and modeling, so we don't need to trace those real deep. Be very careful when you trace the eye to stay on your lines. Now, keeping in mind that a horse's eye is not round, it's oval. So now we will continue tracing. It appears that we have everything traced, so now we can continue with the swivel knife cutting. When doing figure carving, I prefer to use the 3/8 inch barrel swivel knife with a 1/4 inch angle blade. This allows me to do the fine detail work needed that you do with figure carving. So now I will cut carefully about halfway through. Notice as I start cutting this ear, I start off lightly and then come down with it. It's not a good idea to stop abruptly with your cuts when doing figure carving. I want you to be paying careful attention as we do the eye. I will first of all very carefully cut the upper eyelid first. And as I said before, taper off slowly. Now we will very carefully cut the lower eyelid. It might be a good idea to cut it both ways so that we don't accidentally cut past and cut into the upper eyelid. With the nostril, we'll start very carefully and cut as you see me doing here. And this is how our piece looks after we have done all the cutting. Please note that we have not cut any of the dotted lines. To do this horse's head, we will use two different sizes of special figure carving bevelers. We'll use a couple of sizes of modeling spoons. We will use the ball modeler and the deerfoot modeler. I will start first with the large figure carving beveler, and using the dotted line for a guide, I will form the jawline. I'm walking the tool the way you would normally walk a beveler. Now, something I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this tool, lean it backwards, and see the effect? I'm easing this aura or this highlight Now we will form the top part here, same way. With all figure beveling, it's a good idea to always taper it off, as you see me doing here. Now we will form the side of the nose. Now I will switch to the smaller size and do some of the work as you see me doing here. And here again, we taper it off just as you normally would. In the ear, I will do this quite a bit deeper. And I will also taper that off. We'll do both ears the same way. Now we will continue the beveling on the face. We are now finished with the rough beveling using these special figure carving bevelers. For the outside of the horse's head, we will use a standard checkered beveler, and we'll always use the largest one we can. As you will see, this gives us a a little darker impression. This is fine because we're going to be matting and texturing the outside. If you want, you can also use this checkered beveler to give a little more texture to the inside of the ear. I want you to notice now that I've beveled all the way around the outside. I have not beveled into the mouth opening. You do not do anything to the mouth opening. Now I'm going to do the nostril. I'm going to do it with a very small beveler. In this case, it's a checkered beveler because I want to have texture in the nose. Very carefully. And that's all we will do with the nose for now. Now I am using my modeling tool to ease the edges on our horse, give it a little more roundness. I'll do this all the way around the outside of the horse. Also, I will take my pointed modeler or the stylus, and I'll put some whiskers on this horse. Just random dots, as you see me doing here. Now we are going to bevel and shape the eye. I personally do not like to use stamping tools in the eye because basically all we want to do is use the modeling tool, and you'll notice I'm pressing hard down in the corner, and we'll kind of use the tool to round the eyeball. Press the corners, round it slightly. It's not necessary to press this real deep. Just round it. Now, we'll take the modeling spoon also and very carefully press in a skin ridge under the eyelid. See this? Here again, not deep. And on the top side we can do also some texture with the modeling tool and to make the eye stand out more. And this is how your eye should look.